take the time to thank their supporters. But I just wanna make a song to thank all of you. I really love you. And thanks for supporting me. Thanks for having my back. Y'all play no games, y'all ride for me. And y'all on both can get too close. Y'all like it all. And I just wanna take the time to say, oh. Good morning, and welcome back to Being Ready for Commitment Relationship Arena. I am your host, MC Hardaway, where we talk about all things marriage, relationship, commitmentship, and situationship. And it is a beautiful Saturday morning today, and I just wanted to do a shout out to myself. Happy birthday to me. I intend on having a wonderful and a blessed day today. But let's get on with it. So today I want to talk about sharing that relationship knowledge and passing down to the next generation. And so let me break it down a little bit. I was thinking back and talking with my husband about how couples are going into relationships or just commitmentships because you don't want to go any further, and they are having a great time and they are doing things pretty fairly okay for a while. And then children comes into the mix. Okay, whether they are your biological babies or someone you take care of, or just children that's watching you have your commitmentships or your relationships. And you are displaying different types of energy in a relationship. And the child is just picking up what you're doing. They're not understanding why you're doing what you're doing. They're just seeing what's being translated right here. And so what I mean is when you go in these relationships and before you find the right one, if you haven't already, before you come across that special someone that you can love and treat wonderfully, care about, and show unconditional love no matter what, and they can do the same for you, and your space is healthy and encouraging, and it's a caring, loving space. You go through many relationships before you get there. Most people go through many relationships before you get there. And you go through all these many experiences, and majority of them are not good. Some are fair, but just not right. And you take something away from every relationship or commitmentship that you went in, whether it's good or bad. That's how you are planning in your head. This is what I will not take when I do come across that right person. This I don't mind doing because it makes me feel good to give this type of energy to that special one when he or she is there, if they're not already. And so now these babies, this next generation is watching you. Instead of you passing down helpful information, not that bitter and that resentment that you have built up that maybe you have not released. Instead of passing down the helpful information to this next generation about relationships, that they are not all what they may seem. You can't look from the outside in and just determine, oh, I want my relationship to be like this, or I won't take this. You just letting them go out into the world when they get of age and they start experimenting for themselves. And they have to go through all the trials and errors of what is, what shouldn't be, what you want, what you don't want. My thing is try to start expressing relationship information earlier on so it can give them a little more heads up and a little more preparation for once they get out here, and not just say, oh, once you get out here, you figure it out for yourself just because you figured it out for yourself. It doesn't have to be that way. Why don't you share the experiences and say, you know what, I've been in certain particular relationships and some were really good. They were really good. This guy treated me wonderfully, and it didn't work out because I wasn't there. I wasn't mentally ready. I just didn't want to settle down, or I thought we was moving too fast. Or the guy's like, she was really good to me. She was a sweetheart. I was just a jerk. I wasn't ready. I want to sow my oats. You should pass down this information. It don't have to be in detail, too graphic or whatnot, but get them heads up so they'll know that relationships can be a wonderful thing. It's a marriage. Once you make it there, it's beautiful, and it is the beginning of a new thing. But if the child or the teenager is coming out here and they have to run the same process you ran because no one told you and told you to go out there and figure it out, then you are not doing them any justice. The next generation is just out here fending for themselves, making stupid and unnecessary mistakes, and some of these mistakes are not coming from, they're not bouncing back from. See, some of this stuff they can avoid and they can see coming and know how to deviate. So, oh, nope, I was told about this, I was warned, this is not it, I'm not going to go down that route. Versus you just letting them go ahead and fend for themselves because that's what happened to you. I'm going to need the adults to start training the next generation when it's time to make them a little more equipped. Now, they're not going to dodge all the mistakes because you didn't. Some they still going to make because some they have to make. So they are more knowledgeable of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, okay? But some of the stuff, if you can just lighten their mistake load just a little bit, that'd be great. Because they out here and they are doing some crazy things, okay? Some stuff just don't have to be. And these folks are getting in and doing some irreverent things. So, for example, I know a lot of information is not being passed down like it used to, the good stuff. And for instance, like these young ladies are, when they get upset and they just feel it's okay because a guy is stronger than them and he's a man, that if they want to express themselves physically, it's all right. And it's not okay. Now, all these guys, these young guys coming up, are not raised like some of the older generation, some of them, to where they value a woman to not put their hands on them. They're not going to hit you. They're not going to shake you. They're going to do their part and walk away as best they can, as quickly as they can, just to keep down on some unnecessary heartbreak or hurt. Now, these others, you decide you want to go and raise your hand and smack this man because you don't like what he said, you're feeling some type of way. Guess what? He going to hit you back because he going to say, you provoked him, you hit him first. I'm not saying it's right. It don't make it right. But that's some type of information to pass down. For one, you need to start teaching these young ladies and these young men how to handle criticism, how to maintain your emotions, and how to exercise your anger if that's what you feel at the moment. So you're not going around here putting your hands on anyone else because you don't like what they said. These relationships come up and happens all the time. But because you are feeling salty or whatnot, you feel it's okay to hit this man. So if this man say, you know what, I'm not one of those, I'm going to hit you back. Now you got a whole situation. You got some domestic violence going on, and it's not right. This should not be. You need to start showing these young folks what could be, what can happen if you do this. Let them know more about consequences and how to handle yourself emotionally before you get in these type of situations. Now, you got some guys who's gonna do right. Say, you know what, this ain't right. I would not stand for this. This is verbal abuse. I will not allow you to sit here, disrespect me, and hit me. And he goes and do the manly thing and walk away, because technically he can do some serious harm to her. And I'm not saying she ain't got it coming for what she did, but if he's man enough to walk away, then he needs to walk away because he know how the situation gonna turn out. But this young lady wants to do her thing, just keep going, keep ranting, keep batting, keep swinging. As if you can fight this man. You just might can't fight this man. Okay? But let's be real. Technically, men are stronger. So it's all on how you approach the situation. But everybody, again, are not raised that way and don't have that mentality. So this is just an example of what I'm saying. So pass on this information about relationships. Let them know it's work. It can be great, but both parties have to be involved and connected together. This is how we want our relationship to run. This is how we're going to treat each other. No, we're not going to do this particular thing. Because, yes, it's beautiful, but it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of restraint. It takes consistency to keep things going. And that's where the commitment comes in at. If you don't even pass commitmentship, then it's a problem. That means someone don't want to get married. Someone don't want to make you a life partner. Someone don't want to go any further. You're stuck here. It's a problem. So, just pass down information that you've learned, that you've experienced, and then have gained to know better and give the next generation heads up so they don't have to keep going out here making the same stupid mistakes. Now, they're not all the time going to listen. They are not going to take heed all the time, but at least you told them. You expressed to them that, everyone has feelings, including men. I know men tend to get pushed to the side for their emotions. They might not show emotion as much as women do, but they have them, they have feelings, and they have opinions. So you can't push them aside and just say, oh, he's a man, he can take this, he can do this. Well, he can do a lot of things, just like you can as a woman. Don't disregard that because of their gender. But if you put out certain energy, not everyone is going to turn the other cheek and just take it. So, whether you're preparing yourself mentally to get yourself ready or in the relationship spot that you want to be in, once you get there and children are coming up, teenagers, now young adults, you need to explain to them how to have a relationship once you figure it out. If you haven't figured it out yet, it's okay. At least share the knowledge that you have and tell them what you've learned from it so that they can do something a little different and not come out of this thing or go into it the same way you went into it. Because relationships are beautiful. They're supposed to grow and they're supposed to keep moving up. And usually the top level of relationship is marriage. A person wants to love you that much and care for you, take care of you uh, financially, physically. Y'all share a home, share a life, start a new journey together, being happy, going through all the ups and downs of life together without adding any extra stress into your relationship, to your marriage. They're supposed to go and enjoying each other. It's company, feeling great about who you're with in your life is moving in an upward situation. It's not always going to be good, but the two of y'all in this together, really together, and no one else interfering, then it can definitely work. But again, it takes being with that right person, your mindset, the work ethic that you have to actually keep this going. Because you got to keep learning each other. You're going to evolve every day. And once you make it to marriage, it doesn't stop just because you made it to marriage. It's just a new journey. And it should be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful, hard, scary, happy. It's going to be all the emotions you can think of. But being with that right one, that's going to be nothing. Y'all would have tackled the world just because you both are connected and steadfast on what you want for your relationship and the love y'all have for each other. So, just pass down the information necessary instead of just throwing them out there in the world to figure out. If you can help them, then why not? And stop telling them, oh, once you make it a marriage, that's the end. You ain't gonna be able to have fun. You can't do anything else. No, no, no. If that's how you're thinking, you're not ready for marriage, and that's all right. But marriage is a new journey, okay? It's a new experience with your partner, your spouse, someone that you cherish and uphold to do great things with you, to keep loving and showing that concern and that passion for that person, being an uplifter, motivator, all those great things. So that's all I'm saying. Just pass down and try to help the younger generation on just missing out on some mistakes if you can and if they can. Everybody don't have to go and run across the same mistake. Not everybody, okay? Just share the knowledge. Pass it down. Help where you can help. And think big things. I'm married. I love being married. It feels great to be married. It's not easy all the time. It's a lot of work. And then some days it's just straight beautiful. It's easy. I do what I love because I love who I'm with. And I for sure love me. If I didn't love me enough to love the person that I'm with and continue to display this type of love, then it'll be hard every day. But it's not. So enjoy who you with if that's who you want to be with. If it's not, it's the time to think about it. Weigh your pros and cons. See if this is working for you or not. And if it's not, move. Don't stay in something until it becomes a situation. Those are not good. But if you are with someone that loves you sincerely and truly and is displaying this love, which is an action word, and It's giving all the components of a husband or a wife. It's showing those now, and they are showing appreciation you, and they are showing appreciation to you, and that is a next step for you. Then okay, go for it. But just evaluate everything. Make sure this is it. He's it. She's it, and you are mentally ready for this. And just keep aware that people are always watching, especially the younger generation. How they learning? They're learning from us. So let's just be informative, okay? Pass down the knowledge. Don't keep it to yourself. It's needed. That's also a form of love. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope it wasn't too deep for you. Just want to be real. And I hope you have yourself a great, great Saturday because I know I am. I'm about to enjoy myself to the fullest. This is another day. I'm truly blessed to see it. I've come a long way and I'm thankful to be here. I hope you are as well. So, again, this is Being Ready for Commitment Relationship Arena with your host, MC Hardaway. And we talk about marriage, relationship, commitmentship, and situationship. If you would like to reach out to me, you can find me at www.relationshiparena.com. You can leave a suggestion or a comment if you got something you want me to speak on. It's a little box down there that you can fill in, and I will read it on my next podcast. You can find me on Twitter, and you can also find me on different podcast platforms. All right. Until the next podcast show, thank you for listening. Share it. Be great to yourself. Love the ones you're with. And be the best you can be. Holla.